Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 thrifting tips. So thrifting is something that I think anyone can and should do. However, it's kind of like riding a bike or learning an instrument. It's something that you have to practice in order to get better at. So I want to share my top 5 thrifting tips with you so that you can create your own secondhand wardrobe. So tip number 1, and I think this one is the most important, and that is to go more than once. I think this is what stops a lot of people from continuing to thrift. They go once, they don't find anything, and then they say, it's not for me, I'm not going to be able to thrift or find anything, and then they stop. And this happened to me when I first started thrifting. I went and I just didn't find anything, and I thought there's never going to be anything in my size. I'm just not small enough to where they're going to have those like good brands and pieces that are going to fit me. I'm just not going to find anything. But I continued and went anyway, and soon I was able to thrift an entire wardrobe. It just takes practice. So tip number 2 is to give yourself plenty of time to thrift. Thrifting isn't something that you can just go in for 10 minutes, quickly look through, and then leave and then think that you're going to find a bunch of really cool stuff. You really have to dig and take your time. So just make sure that you give yourself at least like an hour. Sometimes I can get through just fine in about 30 minutes, and that's usually in thrift stores that I've been to plenty of times, and so I already kind of know what's there. So tip number 3 is don't just look at your size. So the thing with clothing is that you might be a size 2 in one brand, a size 4 in another, and also it just depends on the fit and style. Sometimes I like my stuff a little bit oversized, and so I can wear something like a medium, whereas some shirts might be really big and I might be able to fit into an extra small. So my suggestion for when you go thrifting is don't just look at your size, look at the size above and the size below, and then you have to just try things on to know if things are going to fit. When you do this, it's really going to open up your options and just give you more of a selection to look at than if you just limit yourself to your size. People are also really bad at putting stuff away, and so someone might just have picked up a size small and chucked it into the mediums, and you might miss it if you don't look. Tip number 4 is to go by yourself. Now I have one exception to this rule, and that's if it's your first time going thrifting and you have someone to go with who's gone thrifting before and they're sort of familiar with it, it might be helpful to go with somebody. However, if you really want to find stuff for yourself, I find it's best to go by myself because I'm not pressured to have to leave or go fast. I can really take my time and really look for things, and if I spend 3 hours in a thrift store, then it's okay, like no one's waiting on me and that sort of thing. And I love taking other people thrifting. I love taking my sister and friends and family because I love showing people what all they can find. However, when I take other people, I find that I'm not really looking for myself because I'm worried about being around everybody else, that I'm not really looking. So anytime that I really need to look for stuff for me, I generally like to go by myself because I can take my time. And tip number 5 is look at demographic when you're looking at thrift stores. Now what I mean by that is if you are looking for higher end brands, you're probably going to want to find a thrift store in a wealthier area where people are going to be putting those brands into thrift stores. So this kind of sounds bad, but if you want to find really good brands, you need to go to areas that have a wealthier population that A, have access to those sort of higher end brands, and then also, they have enough money to be able to just thrift these nice pieces. Now, if you're someone who's more interested in price and not brand, you can go to stores like Goodwill and those thrift stores where the prices are going to be really low. You're going to be able to find stuff for $4 and $8. But if you're like me and you really want to just find those brands that you would buy in the store anyway, you're just looking to buy them secondhand, I would suggest finding those curated thrift stores in sort of those wealthier areas. So the thrift stores that I go to, I'm finding things like Madewell and J. Crew and Lou & Grey and a lot of those higher end brands, whereas if I were to go to Goodwill or in some of the thrift stores in other towns, I'm not going to be able to find those brands. So those are my top 5 thrifting tips that have helped me get better at thrifting and really be able to find those good pieces when I go. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you love this video, consider subscribing and comment down below with your thrifting tips. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.